Donald Trump tweets warning to North Korea, talking is not the answer. United States President Donald Trump said talking is not the answer to the tense standoff with North Korea over its nuclear missile development on Wednesday, but his defense chief swiftly asserted that the U.S. still has diplomatic options. Mr. Trump's comment, coming a day after Pyongyang fired a ballistic missile over Japan that drew UN and other international condemnation, renewed his tough rhetoric toward reclusive, nuclear-armed and increasingly isolated North Korea. The US has been talking to North Korea, and paying them extortion money, for 25 years, Mr. Trump wrote on Twitter. Talking is not the answer. When asked by reporters just hours later if the United States was out of diplomatic solutions with North Korea amid rising tensions after a series of missile tests by Pyongyang, U.S. Defense Secretary Jim Mattis replied, "No. We are never out of diplomatic solutions," Mr. Mattis said before a meeting with his South Korean counterpart at the Pentagon. "We continue to work together, and the minister and I share a responsibility to provide for the protection of our nations, our populations and our interests." Mr. Trump, who has vowed not to let North Korea develop nuclear missiles that can hit the mainland United States, had said in a statement on Tuesday that all options are on the table. North Korea said the launch of an intermediate-range ballistic missile, IRBM, on Tuesday was to counter US and South Korean military drills and was a first step in military action in the Pacific to containing the US island territory of Guam. The 15-member UN Security Council condemned the firing of the missile over Japan as outrageous, and demanded that North Korea halt its weapons program. The US drafted statement, which did not threaten new sanctions on North Korea, urged all nations to implement UN sanctions and said it was of vital importance that Pyongyang take immediate, concrete actions to reduce tensions. Trump's mention of payments to North Korea appeared to be a reference to previous US aid to the country. A U.S. Congressional Research Service report said between 1995 and 2008, the United States provided North Korea with over $1.3 billion in assistance. Slightly more than 50% was for food and about 40% for energy assistance. The assistance was part of a nuclear deal that North Korea later violated. Since early 2009, the United States has provided virtually no aid to North Korea, though periodically there have been discussions about resuming large-scale food aid. The latest tweet by the Republican U.S. president drew criticism from some quarters in Washington. Democratic Senator Chris Murphy wrote on Twitter, "Bar is high, but this is perhaps the most dangerous, irresponsible tweet of his entire presidency. Millions of lives at stake, not a game." North Korea's leader, Kim Jong-un, ordered the launch to be conducted for the first time from its capital, Pyongyang, and said more exercises with the Pacific as the target were needed, the North's KCNA news agency said on Wednesday. The current ballistic rocket launching drill like a real war is the first step of the military operation of the KPA in the Pacific and a meaningful prelude to containing Guam, KCNA quoted Kim Jong-un as saying. KPA stands for the Korean People's Army. Mr. Trump's Secretaries of Defense and State have emphasized finding a diplomatic solution to North Korea's nuclear ambitions. Earlier this month, Mr. Mattis told reporters the U.S. effort is diplomatically led. It has diplomatic traction. It is gaining diplomatic results. Mr. Trump has offered divergent comments on North Korea in recent weeks. On August 22, he tweeted that "I respect the fact that he is starting to respect us," referring to the North Korean leader, and that maybe something positive can come about. On August 8, Mr. Trump had threatened to unleash fire and fury against North Korea if it threatened the United States, and 2 days later delivered some more menacing words. North Korea threatened to fire 4 missiles into the sea near Guam, home to a major U.S. military presence, after Mr. Trump's fire and fury remark. The U.S. Defense Department's Missile Defense Agency and the crew of the USS John Paul Jones conducted a complex missile defense flight test off Hawaii early on Wednesday, resulting in the intercept of a medium-range ballistic missile target, the agency said. The agency's director, Lieutenant General Sam Greaves, called the test a key milestone in giving U.S. Navy Aegis ballistic missile defense ships an enhanced capability, but did not mention North Korea.
Let it go, make my body go. Take our bodies high.